A few years ago, when I was single and living in California, I went on a few dates with this guy who, by all traditional standards, was handsome. He was 6'4", in good shape, strong bone structure, blah, blah, blah. And while his looks certainly got me interested, I ultimately didn't want to pursue things or be in a relationship with him. And this is just one anecdote, but let me tell you, this is not uncommon. I have worked with many good-looking men who have difficulties finding a partner they're excited about despite their physical appearance. From my experience, there are 4 key habits that tend to keep men single. And just a side note, I have noticed that a lot of men do not consider themselves handsome, but I want to be clear that I am not just talking to the Brad Pitts out there. The habits I'm going to cover apply to a lot of men. By the way, my name is Blaine and I'm a dating coach for men. If you want more tips on how to improve your dating life, tap that subscribe button now. Okay, let's talk about the habits that keep handsome men single despite wanting a girlfriend. Before we dive in, I want to be clear that not every handsome single man suffers from these things or all of these things. Even one of these habits alone can be enough to inhibit someone from landing a partner. First, over-reliance on looks. While physical appearance certainly plays an important role in dating, especially as you get older, relying solely on one's looks can actually be a barrier to forming deeper connections with others. Many handsome men may assume that their appearance alone will attract potential partners and neglect other important qualities such as empathy, intelligence, humor, and even real confidence, which I'll touch on more later, outside of their appearance. It is essential to work on developing a well-rounded personality and focus on building genuine connections with others. This becomes especially important as you get older. If you think back to middle and high school, the popular kids were probably good looking, but they didn't necessarily have a ton of other redeeming qualities. This is because it matters a lot less to high schoolers if the person they are dating can provide for a family or is reliable in a crisis. But as people age and mature, what women seek in a long-term partner is a lot more than looks, which is why relying on your looks can keep you single. Second is the fear of rejection. Of course, nobody enjoys rejection, and even though people assume handsome men have a higher rate of success in dating, this does not mean that they are immune to rejection. In fact, they can experience rejection even more intensely since they feel that their appearance should guarantee success, and this is one of their most important qualities. Thinking about it another way, if a guy thinks he's really smart and prides himself in his intelligence, and then he fails a test or gets a low IQ score, he will be more upset than someone who doesn't really believe themselves to be that smart to begin with. The same can be true for handsome guys being rejected by women. And this fear of rejection can lead to avoidance behaviors, such as not approaching potential partners and not putting oneself out there. This is a longer topic for another video, but it is essential to work on overcoming this fear and adopting a growth mindset that allows for learning and growth from rejection. Like I say, rejection equals redirection. Third is unrealistic expectations. Some handsome men have unrealistic expectations of what they want in a partner or relationship, leading them to dismiss potential partners who don't fit their criteria perfectly. And quite frankly, I think this is a bad habit many people generally have, not just handsome single guys. My theory is that these unrealistic expectations can arise because men see these insanely attractive and often highly edited women who they think are 10 out of 10 on their explore pages and on social media. And even though that is 95% of the women that they are seeing, it's only like 0.1% of women in the world, and maybe 0% of the women that they can actually meet depending on what city they live in. This is why it's important to have an open mind and be willing to give people a chance, even if they don't fit your ideal mold. Because if I have learned anything from being a coach, it is that many people don't actually have a grasp on what traits in a partner will make them happy in a relationship. I've literally had a guy tell me that he only wants to be with somebody who also has blue eyes. This is silly. The color of a partner's eyes has nothing to do with your compatibility, their ability to be a reliable long-term partner, and whether or not you will be happy together. And fourth, lacking confidence. It's easy for outsiders to look at someone and say, well, they're good looking, so I'm sure they are confident and have no problems dating. This is simply not true. Being attractive isn't some sort of magic spell to feeling good about yourself. I have worked with and dated plenty of objectively handsome men who either don't consider themselves handsome or their looks simply don't play into their opinion or confidence in themselves. And for whatever reason, they don't think highly of themselves. But that's a deeper topic for another video. Seriously, I have worked with guys who have all American good looks, and I have to literally tell them that they are good looking. They aren't playing dumb, they are genuinely down on themselves, and this affects their ability to attract women. Confidence, no matter what you look like physically, is going to be the most effective way to attract women. Well, confidence and your willingness to take action. A handsome guy who approaches one woman a month will probably still be single in a year, but an average guy who approaches one woman a day will probably have a hot girlfriend. If you found the habits I mentioned illuminating or you're interested in improving your dating life, check out the links in the description on how I can help. And don't forget to tap that subscribe button so you are the first to know when I upload new videos weekly.